Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. Well over half of all teenage girls experience persistent sadness or feel hopeless. 1/3 of all teenage girls have seriously considered suicide. Let those numbers sink in with images of young people we know from our community or church. The next time we see a group of young girls, it should be jarring to know that on average, half of them have felt hopeless, and 1/3 of them have felt like ending their lives. We hear about the evolution of the human condition, how we're making progress, that we're better off than our parents and grandparents were, and it's true in many regards. Technology has made our lives easier in myriad ways. Technology is often benign. How technology is used is where the virtue or the pain lurks. It's good to get an Amber Alert when a child is missing. It's not good when social media is used to hurt or prey on children. It's good when we hear or see an act of kindness from half a world away. It's not good when young people can be bullied or made to feel inferior because they don't meet someone else's expectations or they receive private messages from people who seek to do harm. The double-edged nature of technology. Alcohol can toast a 50th wedding anniversary or lead a drunk driver to kill a family. Drugs can put us to sleep for heart surgery or plunge us into addiction. Social media can share good news or propagate pain. Many things that can help and hurt us are regulated by age and access and use. Is it time to regulate social media for those clearly harmed the most and with the least power to fight back? Joining us now is the founder of Log Off, Emma Lemke. Emma, thank you for joining us. I watched and listened to your testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. If I heard it right, you were on social media at the age of 12. Can you give our viewers a sense of how it began to be harmful for you?
Absolutely, and thank you for having me on. At the age of 12, I downloaded my first social media account, Instagram, and as I began to spend more time on these apps, my mental and physical health suffered. From the constant quantification of my worth through likes and comments and followers, my anxiety was heightened, my depression was deepened. And as specifically a young female, the constant exposure to unrealistic body standards and harmful recommended eating disorder content led me towards disordered eating and in a direction that was not great for my mental and physical health. So I felt those negative repercussions of being on these online spaces, and that was 8 years ago, and today I still see the harm all these young girls are facing that I think is accurately reported in the CDC report that you were quoting earlier.
All right, Emma, I'm going to play a clip from the Education Secretary and then ask you a question on the other side.
The bottom line is we have an emergency room model in our schools. We only deal with the issue when we see the symptoms turn into a major outburst, a fight, or an incident that requires an emergency room visit. We have to do better building up our Tier 1 approaches to meet students where they are, when they need the support, in different ways and in ways that they're comfortable with.
All right, Emma, a 12-year-old cannot sign a contract, vote, buy tobacco or alcohol. They can't quit school. They can't even see certain movies. So why do the social media companies think it's okay for a 12-year-old child to have access to all of their platforms when there's so many other things they cannot do?
Well, the answer is easy. For these big tech platforms, the more eyeballs they have on the screen, the more profit they make. So what these companies are doing is no matter the age, no matter how old the user is, they are going to try to maximize that attention to maximize profit, when in reality what it's causing is this fueling of the youth mental health crisis that we face today. And frankly, I think that what we're facing is the big tobacco of my generation. It's social media. Unregulated social media has become this weapon of mass destruction for my generation.
All right, Emma, if I have this right, you are majoring in political science, and based on your testimony before the Senate, you may be in the Senate one day. You may be in charge. So if you were, how would you regulate social media for young people? What are a couple of things that our viewers can kind of get behind? What would you do?
Well, first, I would lean away from age verification. It's a very important feature to begin to unpack, but I would seek to answer one fundamental question. How is it that we make online spaces safer when kids decide to enter? And I think two things have to come into play. One, these companies need to be regulated to have safeguards, like the highest level of privacy by default, built in to these platforms. And two, we need to see a greater algorithmic transparency so we can begin to, as a society, build solutions that are effective based off of how young people are harmed. And what we need is that data, and that is not something we have right now.
Emma Lemke from the halls of the Senate testifying back to her school, doing everything she can to raise awareness. Thank you so much, Emma, for joining us. And good luck to you.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.